Hello, dear ones. Welcome to the Indigo Rose Lounge. This is your host, Alyce Dylan. Today, I have a joke for you. So it begins, the empath and the narcissist walk into a bar, and we all know how that ends. Oh, sorry, is it too soon? 72% of empaths meet their narcissist somewhere along the way. And I've seen some wild theories on what this is. So let's just walk through it. Because to begin with, the narcissist is focused purely on what will feel good to them. Narcissists are also created in childhood trauma. Even if that trauma doesn't look traumatic to anyone else, there is a period where a narcissist believes that no one's coming to give them what they need. Nobody's going to provide them with what they need. And so they believe they have to secure all of it themselves for themselves. And this creates a very narrow focus. So narcissists are very focused in their idea of what a good life will look like, in their idea of what they want to live, and in their own self-gratification. Sounds nasty, but really it's just a psychopathy, right? So they're broken people. And that might be one of the first attractions of the damaged indigo, because if we're carrying childhood trauma that's unresolved, we have a ping there. We also have childhood trauma. They also have childhood trauma. Might be a healer heal thyself thing. Like there's our trauma sitting out there in someone, and that by healing them, we somehow heal ourselves. The one I find the most fascinating and that I've seen to be the most true, I too have walked my own path with my own narcissists. Not just one, multiples. And that's also because of the Jungian theory that we attract partners in life who manifest or mirror the relationships between or with our parents in order to resolve them. So we always are striving for our own healing, even if it looks like recreating the relationships that maybe caused us the most damage in order to, for ourselves and in ourselves, heal those relationships. So, all right. So we attract the narcissist, and the most appealing thing that I found about the narcissists is how quiet they are. Have you noticed? They're quiet. When you compare a narcissist to any other run-of-the-mill Jane Doe, John Doe, etc., normies are pretty loud emotionally. They're, in general, pretty messy. They're pretty easy to read in that they wear their emotions all over themselves. And they're pretty noisy emotionally. They're just, wow, pingy and noisy and all over the place. By comparison, the narcissist is so entirely focused. They're so narrowly focused in on their own gratification that they're quiet. In comparison, they're quiet. And if they then believe that you are the missing piece of their ideal picture, they are all over you. Like you become the center of their attention, of their world. You really feel that. You feel this tidal wave of attention, bordering on obsession and ownership. But it is very, it eventually is smothering, but initially it's pretty overwhelming, the amount of affirmation they throw at us. You know, they make us feel like we're the only person in the world who they could ever be with. And as long as we fit within their little frame, that's true. And we can have amazing times with the narcissist, as long as we don't in any way jeopardize their very clear picture of their life, how they want it to be, what works for them. The minute that shifts, and that can either be we grow and we outgrow that frame, or something in the relationship shifts us and it knocks the frame a little bit. The minute we no longer fit that frame, they're going to do everything they can to beat us back into that frame, sometimes literally. They're going to go through the whole ambit: possession, manipulation, wearing us down, all of that, trying to get us back into the frame that they had put us on, or rather, let's even say the pedestal. They put us on a pedestal, and as long as we stayed there and prettified their lives and just were who we were the day we met them, that's fine. Because they have a very static view of what they want for their lives, and that view doesn't change. It doesn't grow. They're not self-aware enough to grow. It's static. And if we are true indigos, we're growing. We're growing, we're expanding, we're figuring ourselves out. And so we outgrow that frame pretty quickly, and so it never ends well. But often that's our opportunity to mend a relationship either between or with our parents. And so we go through that. Hopefully we come out the other end with a healing journey, but it's possible we can heal from the narcissist. We heal, we break away, and we carry on. What you won't hear people say often, and I'm going to say to you now, is please remember that you can always love. You can always love. You can always love someone. Maybe when you met them, you saw the potential of them and you fell in love with the potential. And that potential is still there. When you look at them, you still see that potential. The truth is their reality is something else, and their reality, so accepting them 100% for who they are in this moment means I can accept that the ravenous crocodile is the ravenous crocodile. I can accept that and I can embrace it. It also means that I need to accept that I cannot live with the ravenous crocodile and not get it. Yeah? So that's when the rational faculty kicks back in and we start to understand that we can love this person, we can love their potential. We can even love their spirit self. But their human manifestation, the human that they are being, the one that got clicked into narcissism somewhere in their childhood and never clicked out, that person, we simply cannot spend a life with and still have a meaningful life of our own. We'll spend our entire lives bending and buckling and breaking to try to accommodate their self-gratification. And it's a sad, hard road. I know people who have walked it, and it's usually not a good idea, especially not for a sensitive. So, darlings, you're not alone. 72% or so of us find ourselves with a narcissist at some point in time. And people say, yeah, the narcissists zone in on the empath. Maybe they do. We zone in on the narcissist too, because they're quiet. They really are. They're quiet. They're so focused and laser focused on their own gratification. And then we become a part of their menu. Wow, and we become the center of the world. So don't kid yourself. We are part of this process too, and we are in it to learn and heal something. Absolutely. But we hopefully learn that very quickly and get out and move on, because there's no good outcome for the empath and the narcissist walking into the bar. None whatsoever. You know the story I haven't heard enough of? And if you have a story for me, I would love to hear about it. 2 empaths walk into a bar. Have you ever heard of one of those? Of all my life experience, all that I've done, I've never heard that one. I don't know how that works out. I don't know where that goes. How does that work? Do they have to give each other lots of space to grow and change? Do they have to accept one another exactly as they are? Do they leave each other's interpretation to each other's discretion? Or do they try and convince each other of their own framework of how things should be? Is it just a normal relationship, just with a whole bunch of empathy thrown in? We haven't really explored those, you know, the empath and the empath. And I'm not talking about the closet narcissist. No, I mean, I know those ones. The ones you would swear, if you met them, you would think they're one of us. They look so indigo, they behave so indigo. But when you scratch the surface, they really are those undercover narcissists. But there's no judgment here about that. Narcissists are broken people too. And when we find them, we're normally broken too. So how do you stop yourself not ending up with a narcissist? Well, sweetheart, male or female, by the way, they come in equal sexes. The way you stop yourself falling down the narcissist rabbit hole is that you heal. You do your self-work. You stand in love. You ground yourself in love. You choose love as your foundation. And you allow love to flow through you and out to others rather than from you. You really, if you stand in that flow, you receive love from all of your supporters in the next world, from the source, from the divine. If your words are, if you become a consistent recipient of love and you flow that love out, everyone around you, that will heal you in the process. Love always heals. It's the healing force. So you will heal, and then you won't be drawn back into that nexus. Unless, of course, you still have the lesson to learn about why your parents were that way or why one of your parents was a narcissist. And again, that's all about experiencing it, seeing it, digesting it, taking the good from it, eliminating the negative, and moving the hell on. Really, dear hearts, take such good care of you. Just take good care. I know we've got some tough lessons to learn. I get it. Some of us really need to go through the mill on this, but we don't all have to. Maybe we could learn the lessons vicariously. Maybe we can learn from other people's stories. Maybe we can show our parents some grace and understand that they were doing the best they knew how. Maybe we get to understand that the narcissist is just a broken person and not worthy of blame and shame and all of that, but also unable to love. Narcissists, because they're stuck in fear, although they don't really remember the basis of that normally, there was a moment in their childhood where they just hit terror and they became aware that nobody was going to satisfy their needs. And they became convinced of that. And they would have to do it for their own selves. And therefore they're in the victim triangle. They're a victim, persecutor, or a rescuer. They can be all three at the same time sometimes. Narcissists are stuck there. And people stuck in that victim paradigm are stuck in fear. They're mired in fear. And remember, fear and love cannot exist in the same heart. That's an absolute. Fear and love cannot exist in the same heart. You cannot be loved by a narcissist. You can be obsessed over, you can be stalked, you can be showered in praise and all sorts, but you cannot genuinely, truly, and lastingly be loved by a narcissist. Here's the good news, though. The new research shows, by the white coats, they have discovered that at about 60 or 70, if narcissists have survived that long, they sometimes outgrow their narcissism and they become nice, kind people. So if you're willing to wait that long, there is a chance. There is hope. Otherwise, lovelies, hook up with love. Stay focused in the light. Your eyes to the light and you won't get lost in shadows. And remember to love always.